Good morning everybody, I am here in Dorking in Surrey about to do the Hurtwood 50k trail ultramarathon. This is going to go all the way through the Hurtwood forests in Surrey. We're going to get loads of decent trail running in. Hopefully the conditions aren't too muddy and it's going to be a nice fun trail run. We've got about 4,000 feet of elevation gain. It's very busy this morning, as you can see. Everybody's getting ready to run this fantastic race. I've heard very good things about it through the grapevine. Let's get to the finish, the start line. Get ready to run and go. Hurtwood 50, let's do this. First mile we just went along the Dorking High Street and a small residential area. We've now gone into the woodland and we're currently going up our first big ascent. Take a look at that. So far so good, the trail running starts now. Right, we're now well on our way on our first prolonged ascent. Everyone's walking this section, very steep uphill through the woods. And yeah, the terrain's been very tricky and technical so far. Loads of rocks and roots on the floor. They can easily trip you up, but overall, it's a lovely day. No rain at the moment, touch wood. And I'm enjoying the first bit of this race. We're about 3.5 miles in now. Let's carry on. What's nice about this course so far is that even though there's loads of really sharp uphills and some really tricky terrain, there's some lovely, nice, flat, long sections like this one in front of me. So you're able to break up the long slog ascents with some nice straights and get a bit of speed in to get through those miles a little bit quicker. Onwards and upwards, let's go, come on. Okay, first aid station down, 7.5 miles, ticked off of this 31-mile ultramarathon / 50k. I've just tried something new for the first time. I've got some tailwind sachets with me to get some carbs and a bit of salt with me in my water on the go. This event doesn't offer tailwind or any other electrolyte-based drink, so I'm just going to try and make sure I stay ahead of it, keep on top of the calories and keep on top of those electrolytes throughout this race. So far so good, let's carry on. Okay, 10.5 miles down, time for a little check-in. I'm feeling pretty good. I think I'm now well within my race flow. Not feeling that fatigued. My legs are a little bit sore from all the hills. We've done about 1.7k in feet of elevation gain so far, but it's a lovely morning. This is a nice course, loads of rocks to keep you mentally occupied, because obviously you don't want to go over and take a tumble. But I'm having a good time in the Hurtwood 50k. Let's go. Let's keep it up. Time for another very steep climb. This course is littered with them, but it is broken up into some nice runnable sections, which get you some mileage fairly quickly, which is good. Alright, 14.7 miles in now, and we've just arrived at the biggest mud fest in history. Check out how muddy this is. If you're not careful, you'll probably lose a shoe in this. Yeah, just trying to work out what the best strategy is. Going around this track, going through it. Feet are absolutely soaking. Up to now, the course has been really nice. A little bit muddy here and there, but nothing like this. Just check that out. How are you getting on, Charlotte?
Disgusting.
Having the time of our lives. Oh yeah, and we left the second aid station about oh my god, probably should have picked a better spot to film. We left the second aid station about 10 minutes ago, so we're now 14.7 miles in. Onwards and upwards. Come on, let's keep it going. Right, we just left the third aid station. We're about 18.5 miles in, and we're now coming back on ourselves. So this race is an out, a loop, and then it is a back. So we're actually going back the same route we came in the first half of this race to make it back to Dorking, where this race started this morning. Okay, feeling a little bit more knackered now than earlier, but yeah, we're almost in the home stretch. Let's carry on and get this done. Why do they call it Hurtwood? Because it hurts and you run through the woods. Bottom. Here all weekend, ladies and gents. Just trying to get through this last 10 miles. Not gonna lie, miles 17 to 20 was a bit of a rough patch for me. My leg is starting to hurt. Feeling pretty knackered, but seem to have had a second wind. I'm feeling much better now. Touch wood though, don't want to jinx it. Let's just carry on. Right, I'm about 32 miles in now. I'm back on Dorking High Street. Unfortunately, I couldn't film any more after the last video entry I made because my GoPro's been playing up all day. I've had 4 batteries. Every time I put a battery in, it works for about 20 to 30% of the battery's life. Then for some reason, it just flatlines to 0. And yeah, I need to get that sorted, so I'm going to look into getting another device potentially. But I just had a bit of a navigational palaver. I went off course, not 1, not 2, but 3 times. And one of them, I guess, could be partially attributable to me, but the other 2, I think, is due to the marking of this course, and I'll speak all about this in the debrief. I'm going to run to the finish line, Haven't got far to go. But yeah, one thing is safe to say, I'm absolutely knackered. That was a really tough course. Here's the finish line, let's do it. Hello everybody, it is a few days after I finished the Hurtwood 50k by Freedom Racing. I'm still a little bit sore, but I'm recovering very nicely. That was a really fun race and I had a fantastic day. Brilliantly organised by Freedom Racing, and as you saw, the course was absolutely fantastic. Stunning views, really fun and tricky technical terrain. Loads of sharp, steep ascents and tons of descents to match, and there were so many rocks during the course that I thought it should have been called Rockwood rather than Hurtwood. I finished 60th out of 294 finishers in a time of 5 hours and 26 minutes, 33 seconds. I actually lost about 20 minutes of time due to unfortunately going off course a whopping 3 times, which is a record for myself during one of these ultra events. I heard from a few runners during the day that they had also experienced some issues in terms of the signage. My brother and another girl that we were running with, Emma, also went off course during their run, so I'm glad to hear it wasn't just me. In terms of what happened the first time, there was an alleyway and there was a sign looking like it was going and pointing runners into the alleyway. However, I didn't actually see to the far right of the alleyway. There were indeed more signs going far off to the right, which is the way I should have gone. That was the first time I went off course. Secondly, I was chatting to some guy. We were both following his GPX file. After I had initially got lost. We then both got lost because we were chatting and got distracted, so that was our fault there, hands up. We had to go through some bushes to get back onto the trail. And thirdly, there was a fork in the trail and there were 2 paths which you could go down. I unfortunately selected the wrong path. There was no sign telling you which way you should go, and I unfortunately got lost on that occasion as well. This is by no means to bash Freedom Racing. I appreciate that putting up signage is a really tricky, resource-intensive effort, and fair play to anybody who does. Course markings, I think that on this particular occasion there were just a few instances where the signs probably got knocked off by wind or rain or by some other factor outside of the control of the race organisers. And for the most part, the signage was brilliant, and there were tons of other runners who didn't go off course, so you know, obviously it's probably down to myself as well, and I will be downloading the GPX route file for all races that I have following this in the future. Lesson learnt the hard way. In terms of what I think went well, I'm pleased that I maintained a steady pace and I ran all of the runnable sections, and I was able to keep a brisk hike up the really steep ascents. I also was quite well prepared. This was my 6th ultramarathon that I've finished, so I've now gotten into a pretty good routine before the race in terms of preparing my kit and getting myself mentally ready for the race. In terms of what didn't go so well, to be totally honest, I wasn't 100% fit for this race. I could have trained a lot more in the weeks leading up to it, so my time probably wasn't as good as it could have been. And secondly, obviously, I shouldn't have gone off course. That was a massive fail there, which cost me about 20 minutes in my race time overall. So, you know, all good learning and all part of the journey. These things happen. In conclusion, I had a really fantastic day, really enjoyed this race, and I would highly recommend it to other runners out there. With this being on the lower end of the ultra distance scale, clocking in at about 31.6 miles, this is a fantastic introductory event for recreational and road runners that want to try their hand at a bit of trail running and a bit of ultra running. If you're looking for a fun ultra marathon, I would highly recommend the Hurtwood 50. Give it a go. Thanks very much for watching. I've been Craig. Try new things, try being more. I'll see you in the next video.